Hello, besties! Welcome to Martini with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. And, I am trying to keep my mental health as a priority, right? And the best part of this is that I I feel finally like I'm getting back to myself, trying to do the thing that make me happy, like watching Bravo, talking about Bravo, being here on the podcast. I finally got time to catch up with Atlanta and New York from the previous weekend, and obviously I watched last night the episodes live and I retweet and tweet and did all the things because that makes me happy. So before I get into the mess, I want to remind people that it's important to prioritize your mental health and do things that make you happy. For example, today I just had a pot gummy, meaning like a marijuana gummy, and a THC infused soda. So I'm a little high, but I'm in New York City. It's legal, and that's important. You shouldn't be ashamed for what make your anxiety and depression go away, or at least manage. Because let's remind that ourselves too. They don't go away. They do not. What they do is that you learn how to live with it and how to manage it and find activity that make you happy. um Talking about anxiety, you know what causes me anxiety? How confusing Atlanta has been this time around. I watched the previous episode and I have some notes. I just want to give you some highlights. I don't want to like get too deep into recapping 4 episodes total. It will be 2 Atlanta, 2 New York. Let's just do highlights from the previous season and dive into last night, because last night episode, I mean, both of them delivered. But Atlanta to me is been having a weird season. Um, I enjoy some parts, but most of the time I'm always wondering what is truly happening. For example, they went to that sound bath meditation stuff in Portugal, right? And I love all the stuff, but it didn't feel sincere, at least for some of these ladies. Some of the commentary and some of the stuff felt very for the camera. The only one that I felt like she truly had like a spiritual connection, or like an out of body experience, was Kenya. And I'm saying this because the reasoning behind her crying on that sound bath meditation thing was her daughter, and the fact that she might want to have another baby, so her daughter has a sibling, right? and and that goes back to last night episode. There was a moment between Kenya and Brooklyn that it was just beautiful. They were playing with um I think it's a nephew or a cousin. It's a little baby, and their interaction, the three of them, the way that Brooklyn was so excited, it gets to show that Kenya is ready for that family to expand. She's ready for Brooklyn to have another sibling. I do like that when the housewife show you something more than just their drama with the group or any type of drama that they're going through. Sometimes it's good to show some real experiences, because as viewers we can connect with those, right? I can see a lot of ladies out there, and guys, and um kind of connecting with that side of Kenya, like trying to be a parent, trying to expand their families, bringing new life into this world, which is stressful, especially, uh, they are. Kenya is not like a 20-something-year-old girl. Like having a baby at her age, it's can be like a health issue. I don't know if she's trying to maybe use a surrogate or not, but it's there's so many layers at that point when it comes to getting pregnant and delivering a baby at that age. But at the same time, it's such a beautiful experience to see through the lens of the camera how much Kenya loved Brooklyn and how ready she is to give that love to a new baby. Somebody actually made a comment online that maybe Kenya should adopt, and I mean that is a decision that each person should do. That shouldn't be just done because oh it's the right thing to do or there's too many babies out there or whatever. I mean there is um, that's a personal decision, and as viewers at least we should be happy with the fact that she's trying to um, explore her options, right? um, and when we talk about confusion, corny, corny. Courtney should be named Corny. I was like, it's so corny the fact that she's fighting with Kenya for absolutely no reason. And in the previous episode where they were having that, lunch after the sound bath, um, she kept coming for Kenya, right? And then it was interesting to see how Marlo used the word karma when Courtney has used it many times to explain what happened to Kenya while walking out of the hotel. She fell and all this stuff. So I still believe that there is a collusion, like Drew said, between Courtney and Marlo to go after some of these girls, and in particular Kenya. There was no real motivation for Courtney to go after her in the first place. I mean, she's been having this really hot energy towards some of the girls, but particularly those who do not align with Marlo, right? She went after Kandi at the beginning. Then she kind of tried to go after Drew, but she didn't go all the way, I guess, because the connection between Drew, Ralph, and Courtney. But then she switched to Kenya. And I mean, she's been a little condescending this whole entire time. She didn't respect the fact that Kenya was asking her to simply respect her personal space. So yeah, I still believe that Korn is having a beef with Kenya for no reason and absolutely no foundation. It's no point. The only point that I can see is that Korn is trying to get a peach really badly, and she is following Marlo's step, right? She's following kind of her journey as a housewife, and I mean, we all know that having an issue with a main character kind of put you on the map, but sometimes it's good to give yourself the opportunity to develop that beef in a organic way. I mean, look what happened to Diana Jenkins in Beverly Hills. Many people were so confused by the fact that she came on the show so hot for Sutton out of nowhere for no reason. That's how I feel like Courtney's trying to do with Kenya. She did it with Kandi, but the Kandi thing was once again stupid. But there was some kind of backstory, like, oh, we were in the same circle. You said you didn't know me, and stuff like that. But was that enough reason to support this beef? No, there was no fucking reason, right? I I always try to give housewife the benefit of a doubt when it comes to the stuff they say on camera, right? Some of these girls have no idea where some countries are. Like for example, Drew uh, thought that Portugal was no Kenya thought that Portugal was in Spain, and Drew was not sure where South Africa was, or maybe she didn't know that South Africa was, the real Africa because it's part of the African continent. Also, in the previous week episode, right? At the end, they were dancing with locals, right? At the vineyard, and I mean, I just don't know how Drew didn't know that being a pilgrim doesn't equal being a local. You know, a pilgrim is somebody who moved to a sacred land for religious purposes, right? Um, she thought that they were pilgrims, the locals. I mean, they need. I'm telling you, stuff. Some housewife need to get a dictionary. Some housewife need a map. Some housewife need some history lessons because some of these comments on their confessionals make you like scratch your head and like and go like, I'm not sure that you meant to say that, or maybe you don't know the actual definition of the word. At least when they did collusion, they use a dictionary to explain it on the confessional, right? Um, which, by the way, even though they were trying to discredit the word collusion, it was kind of right. I mean, just because it's not like a political thing or whatever. I mean, if you are planning behind people's back to take somebody down and you're doing it in a malicious way, that is called collusion. So, yeah. There was talking about a comment from that episode. You know, this whole LaToya and Drew commentary, and I mean, storyline, all this like Drew and LaToya storyline that has been the conversation for 3 4 episodes now, which is getting quite exhausting because this happened like what 2 seasons ago, and we are talking about this stuff now. It seems forced. It seems like um, they are just bringing it up because Drew it's being part of a movie playing somebody who's attracted to a woman. So whoever is behind the scene trying to stir the pot with this whole storyline, I'm thinking is Marlo perhaps because she's the one who likes to produce a lot. Um, it's just like it's stupid. Like, come on, like let's move on from this. This is 2 seasons ago. This is not necessary right now, which makes me wonder and question um, Atlanta's future. Because if you can hold on to new drama to make the story move forward, if you depend on rehashing shit from like 10 seasons ago, I'm concerned. And this is not the first storyline on this season that it's a problem from many seasons ago that it was actually a non-issue, you know? Like we had Marlo and her nephew that she went after Kandi, and then the whole text exchange over that situation, and like there was footage that was not released back then, and then they released it to kind of explain what happened and prove that Kandi was actually doing what she needed to do, which is say I'm sorry, being supportive, and that's it. um Now we have this LaToya, bullshit that even though Drew keeps denying it and people keep bringing it up, it's just getting old, you know? Um, yeah, I just didn't like the comment that Marlo said in her confessional, saying like, I'm pretty sure most of them, meaning the girls in the group, are undercover lesbians. I don't like that. I do not like when people use people's sexuality as a, gossip or trying to out them or like what people are doing with Kyle Richards. Am I a Kyle fan? I never been a Kyle fan. Actually, I was very outspoken when she did that to Denise, and when Lisa Rena did it to Denise Richards. I despise Lisa Rinna, especially for what she did to Denise Richards. It was disgusting. So I don't care who you are. I can love this housewife, and I will never support gossiping about people's sexuality. Or I might despise this housewife or don't like her and have to defend her if somebody is doing that to that person. Like Kyle Richards, I'm not a fan of her, but I'm out there on the freaking Twitter streets defending her relationship or non-relationship with this girl, um, Morgan, right? Same thing is happening again in Atlanta. Like this comment by Marlo, like stop playing Nancy Drew with people's sexuality. Stop gossiping about it. When people tell you to stop and they deny it, just move on. It doesn't matter if it's a lie or not. You do not know what that person is going through, especially when it comes to accusations of like same sex relationship or attraction. You don't know how the people around this person are going to react. We have no right to our people to push them out of the closet, no matter what. I don't care who you are. That's not for you to do. For the person to take the step forward that they need to embrace who they are in a public matter or in a private matter. That's nobody's business. So, from last night episode, let's move to the last night episode a little more. Let's dive into that one now that we spoke about the previous weekend. Which, by the way, am I'm trying my best to stay on kind of on track with watching shows live, but some of these shows are I'm more interested in some more than others. So, for example, Atlanta, I almost forgot that it was on last night. Like I was waiting for New York at 9 p.m. and then I was waiting um Watch What Happened Live because Brynn was going to be on it, which she did fantastic for a first time housewife. Fantastic for a first time Bravo Lab because she's not just a first time housewife. I mean, many people has been on the show, before being housewife or friend of or whatever. This is not her first time as a housewife. It's her first time ever, period. And she was a natural. I love Brynn. Um, but I almost forgot that Atlanta was on last night. Luckily, I have like little alarms to remind me what Bravo shows are on. Like, I always get like an alarm like 20 minutes before the show starts. I'm like, oh my gosh, Atlanta. So, last night, one of the stuff that I'm gonna give props to Marlo is the fact that she is trying, at least for the camera or not for the camera. That's like I said before, we can't confirm any of this stuff. She's spending a lot of time with her nephews. They had a really amazing, beautiful photo shoot for Christmas, and by the way, they all looked amazing. And that's one thing. I mean, Marlo sometimes has some like fashion, choices that I might not agree with, but that doesn't mean that she looks bad. Like for example, like in that Christmas card uh that she did with her nephews, she looked absolutely beautiful. And that's one thing that I can give to Marlo. Marlo understands fashion to an extent. She understands her body. She understands what it looks good on her or not. So is Marlo a great housewife? I question that. But is Marlo a fashion girl? Yes. Do I think Marlo is good TV? I mean, sometimes. Do I think Marlo will be better as a friend of because she has the ability to just, produce as needed? Yes, because she likes to produce a lot. She's a nonstop producer. She's the Kyle Richard of Atlanta. She's the Lisa Rinna of Atlanta. People who really try hard to produce because they have absolutely nothing going on with their own lives, kind of thing. Um, I'm still confused by her relationship with Scotty. I think is the name of the guy. Um, I don't understand it, to be honest. she's talking about husband, and I'm like, didn't just go for like 2 dates or something like that. Also, the kids knowing the name of the guy and asking her to bring her over. I'm just happy that at least she's like adult enough to know that she cannot be bringing random guys around the kids. I appreciate that she was very clear about it, and I can see her in a better light as a family figure, as the leader of the house with the nephews. Last season was just terrible for her and her family dynamic. This season, I think either she listened to the criticism online or she genuinely is having a better season with her nephews and connecting with them in a deeper level. Who knows? The one that I don't get her family dynamic is Sanya. I mean, I love Sanya as Sanya. She's sweet. She has success. She has a beautiful family. She can dress. She understands her body too. She knows what it looks good on her. Yes, she's so sweet. I met her and she was absolutely warm and welcoming. But on the show as a housewife, I'm still trying to process her storylines. And I'm like, we are past the mid-season, you know, mark, and I still do not get her storylines. And yes, the sister, the brother-in-law working for her and quitting and asking the sister to move out is an interesting. Um, I mean, honestly, no. I mean, I'm just being honest. But do I think she will do better as a friend of? Yes. And also, one thing that I have noticed this season on Atlanta is that sometimes the individual storylines feel disjointed from the show. Like, I'm watching Housewife of Atlanta, but sometimes some storylines feel so out of place. Like her storyline with her family doesn't feel like part of the show for some reason. It feels like I'm watching a whole different show. Maybe it's the speed of the family, like the dynamics within the family. There is something that it's not clicking like other housewife stories, like even Marlo with her nephews. Kenya's journey as she's trying to extend her family and her journey with Brooklyn. There are stuff that makes sense for the show. For some strange reason, I don't click with Sonia's storyline, and I'm really trying because I like her. You know, um, I might not agree with her and the side that she takes and whatever, but that's completely fine. I'm just trying to um, see where she stands on this franchise. I think that Sonia will do better as a friend of or having her own spin-off, uh, like an 8 episode spin-off with like her being pregnant with her family and call it a night and wrap it up and go. You know, one thing that I was really excited and it definitely delivered was Cynthia making her comeback to Atlanta. I know we all know she's just a guest and she's gonna, pop here and there moving forward. I mean, she came in a little late, but for my understanding and the fact that Kenya uh, explained that on Twitter, Cynthia filmed with Kenya many times. She filmed with Kenya while she was filming the commercial for her hairline. She filmed with Kenya at her salon that she's building, and obviously Kandi last night. So it feels like it was more like a production decision to like reintroduce Cynthia to the show later on. I wonder if it has to do with not trying to make her an official friend of. Um, I love Cynthia Bailey. I need to share this because Des Hop shared a message saying, "Love Miss Cynthia Bailey." I love her too. I think when it comes to Cynthia, you guys, I do believe that she will do absolutely amazing on Beverly Hills. Between her and Heather, I think are the next transplant to a new city. That's just my opinion. And I mean, if you look at the tracks, you follow the tracks, if you see the history between Cynthia and Sutton and Garcelle, and she's connecting with all the girls in Beverly Hills, it makes sense. She has that, I don't know, je ne sais quoi. You see, I'm trying to sound sophisticated on this bullshit. I can be sophisticated too. I can be sophisticated as fuck. but um, but yeah, I do believe the Cynthia will do so great on Beverly Hills. Some people are not for that, but um, the best part about her is that she knows how to make an entrance, and I was so excited when I saw her heels walking towards the restaurant, and she said, "Surprise, bitches, I'm back." And then she goes into like a more sassy commentary saying like, "Now what else is going on?" I mean, only Miss Cynthia Bailey can have an queen entrance like that. Um, I'm happy though that we also got to listen and learn about the aftermath of Ultimate's Girls Trip, because we know that first season was really hard to watch because as a Cynthia Bailey fan, I was quite disappointed with my girl. She was being a little bit of Debbie Downer on that trip. And you could tell that her friendship with Kenya was hurt during that trip. So I'm happy that we learned now that because once again, Queen of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice, they got to talk and rekindle that friendship. They saw each other after that trip. They saw each other at Teresa Giudice's wedding, and that helped them to reconnect. Kenya learned about what was happening in Cynthia's life, and I'm happy at least that Cynthia is in a happier place. Like you can tell that she has moved on with all that shitty energy that is getting a divorce and stuff like that. She's single. She's ready to mingle. I mean, we saw her enjoying all the peach, frosty peach or whatever it calls, from bedroom candy, party. I mean, I love Kandi, and one thing that I like about her is the fact that she has been consistently very sex positive. Like she talks about toys and pennies with like a vibrator or whatever. I mean, it sounds like weird, but I mean, we are all humans. We all need a form of, you know, self-serving or self-satisfaction, And we even saw during the episode, we saw a flashback from 12 years ago when Kandi and Shrek were like at a sex shop, shopping for toys, and Candy's talking to the selling girl or person. I'm building my own business. This is the type of um, toys I want to sell. So I mean, I like that. We see the growth of a business. I mean, sometimes we forget how far some of the ladies has gone when it comes to building their own brands. Like we see Kandi and bedroom Candy coming so long since that little scene 12 years ago. And then you can go back to many other housewives too. Like we have Kenya with a hairline that the hair care line that started as an idea, and then it has become a very successful business that is sold across the country. So I'm as a fan, as a Bravo fan, it's definitely inspiring and also um, kind of make you feel proud of them. I once again, that party was so fun. That bedroom party, candy party, whatever. Well, because it brings the fun of the group. Like we see Sonia being sassy, and she's very quiet. And she had a confession of saying like, "Who could use bedroom candy the most?" And then she said like, "I think Ross and I might need this the most." I mean, it's been 20 years. I mean, once again, I like Sonia and I really want her to succeed. But moment like this is what I kind of understand why she is a housewife. She can give sometimes a good confessional. That was really funny. And then we see once again Cynthia having a good time. She's like, I came here for the goodie bag. I want my bedroom candy stuff. I'm ready to party and I'm ready to use them. Obviously, the party wouldn't have been the same if Toya didn't show up and pull, you know, Drew aside, and Kandi was there, and Drew called Marlo, which by the way, Marlo is pushing this story and also kind of making fun of Drew's look on Instagram. I'm like, girl, like come on, like facetune your pictures. That everybody does that, including Marlo. So Marlo going after Drew because allegedly she photoshopped herself to look 22 on her Instagram. I'm like, that is kind of like the pot calling the kettle black or something. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's not it. Like, come on, Marlo, you can do the same thing. You do the same thing too. But once again, going back to the Toya and Drew's storyline, we need to move forward from this. They both denied it. They seem to be fine with each other. The other lady should stop talking about it because it's boring. We spoke about this 2 seasons ago, and now we are rehashing this in a time when most of these people on the cast knew that Drew was going through issues with Rolf. So I'm pretty sure Rolf is gonna use any excuse to make himself look like he is the good guy. And I'm sorry, he is a shitty person. Period. .com. The fact that he couldn't defend Drew to Marlo when Marlo was dragging Drew to Rolf, I thought that was fucking shitty. Like Marlo pulled Rolf aside to apologize for what she said about him in Portugal, and then she went ahead and started talking about Drew to him, and he didn't say a damn thing. So I mean, what kind of guy does that? Like, I'm sorry if my partner is not there for me. Even you can be mad at me, you can hate me or whatever, but if you are in a public space where we are still together and somebody's talking shit about me and you said nothing, I'll be filing fucking divorce the next day because my partner should be my partner, and a partner doesn't let other people trash, the other person. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. That's nobody's business. The way that they deal with the relationship behind closed doors and in the house, unless there's some kind of like physical violence or like stuff like mental stuff, like where people play with like people emotions. Yes, you know, get involved. But just talking shit for talking shit to the other person, I don't think that was okay. So, but the party was fun and I really enjoyed it. You know what also I enjoyed last night? New York. If you're not watching Real Housewives of New York, I feel really bad for you. It's honestly one of the best seasons that I have seen in a while in Bravo for a long time. I'm gonna tell you why. Fresh cast with money. Uh, the fights are so petty. They're fighting over fucking cheese, caviar, and who stay at whose house. We hadn't gotten too deep into heavy drama between the cast, but the drama that we had seen is so light and silly that is enjoyable. But and at the same time, we get to meet these ladies in a deeper level. Like we're still talking about Jessel and the fact that she hasn't had sex with her husband since they had kids. Uh, the husband called it kind of like the marriage parent tax something, meaning like since they became parents, they have no time and they're not mentally there to like enjoy everything, and that's very typical. It sounds like a stretch, but some parents go for months and years without having sex because they just became new parents. So it's not like a reach, it happens. But I agree with some of the ladies. I mean, you need to write that poll once in a while because then if you don't do it, somebody else is gonna do it. It's true. That happens. I'm not saying that you have to, submit to your partner and just do whatever that person wants and use you, whatever. No, 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 no. We need to understand that sex it's a something between two people. Both need to be consent. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. Consent, because some people had read online that some people use the excuse that they're married to take advantage, physically advantage of their partner. So let's remember, sex is consensual no matter what stage. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, Jessel needs to like realize that if she is not riding the pole, another woman's gonna do it. And men are weak, including myself. I'm a man, and I understand that. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. But men are weak when it comes to uh, natural pleasures. One thing that gives me natural pleasure is knowing that I have thousands of dollars in jewelry that I can wear casually in the morning to wash tomatoes, like Jenna Lyons did last night. I was so happy to see that scene. Yes, it's pretentious, it's out of touch, but is that the shit that we tune in to watch this lady do? Like honestly, that's what we watch Housewife. I was so happy when I saw over more than a couple of $1,000 on Jenna Lyons' wrist while she was washing tomatoes. Because I said it before, I want my housewife to be out of touch with reality. And even though Jenna Lyons is very on touch with reality because she is very quirky and uh, she kind of reminds me, for some reason, Jenna Lyons reminds me of Taylor Swift sometimes. Like, remember when Taylor Swift will like talk and um, it will be like awkward and she will laugh and whatever. That's how I feel like Jenna Lyons is. And her wardrobe. I mean, she had the most amazing closet in New York City with over 300 plus shoes. And she loves a hoodie with a trucker hat and distressed denim. Literally, when they showed her the stuff that she packed for the Hamptons last night, it was all distressed jeans that look exactly the same. I was like, Jenna Lyons, who probably has couture hanging in her closet, she preferred to wear just jeans and uh, just like super casual, nothing like extravagant. But what makes her really cool is the fact that she's not forcing any of this. She's not like trying to be cool or like low key, or she's not pretending to have all this money. Obviously, her commentary is so funny. Like when she said, like, "Oh, this upcoming up and coming town or neighborhood, Tribeca," and I'm like, Jenna Lyons, Tribeca is not up and coming. It's very, very up. If you live in New York City, you know that Tribeca is an extremely awesome area of the city. Very beautiful buildings. Um, Definitely not up and coming, unless we are now we're calling multi-million dollar apartments up and coming. One thing that I appreciate about this episode is the fact that we get to see Ubah and Brynn's like like background stories, like where they come from, especially their dynamic with their families. Like we learned that Ubah lost her mom at a very young age, and that caused her a lot of issues, and especially like in the city when she felt alone and she didn't have that person to call to because her mom was that person, right? Also, she shared all her financials, process to fund her Uber hat, which by the way, I order a set of three to sell on Amazon. And this is no advertisement or paid um, promo or anything. I'm very curious because I love hot food. Like I like spicy. I like spices. I get whatever it gives me flavor to my food. I'll get it. So I was thinking about getting these hot sauces because when I did my interview with Sam from Summer House, she said, "Eddie, you're gonna love it. I know you like spicy food. It's so good," and um, it got stuck in my head. So last night I was watching the episode, which by the way, this is a great way to sell your product, you guys. Um, she started talking about it, and I was like, wait a minute, I meant to get some of this hot sauce, and I went and got some, right? So I'm gonna try it, and I will do a review. I might even cook something and like bring it and start eating it here live. So you guys see that I'm actually eating the hot sauce. I'm not. I'm trust me. I'm no weak when it comes to hot sauce. I like my sauce spicy. So I appreciate the fact that we get to see that journey in her life, and you know, she said some beautiful words that I want to read verbatim because it hit home. It definitely hit home. She said, "For people who have their mothers, make sure you are in a very good term with them, because when they are gone," and she started crying. I mean, it's true. Maybe it's time for me to share just like a little piece of my life to kind of connect with what I'm watching, right? Um, when I first came out, I didn't actually come out to anyone. I just did what I felt it was right at that moment, and that's how it changed my life. Um, so when I got my first boyfriend, it was very late. I was like 25, um, and I didn't have any experience with any other guy before that. So it was literally my first same-sex relationship that I allow myself to get in to, right? Um, because I knew that I was gay, but I just didn't kind of like work on it or yeah, or act on it. So I never had a boyfriend or anything until I was like 25. So when my mom saw pictures of me and my boyfriend, she called me and she said, um, so I saw the pictures and I hope this is a joke, or maybe you need to go to church and pray the gay away. My mom and I were best friends, right? And when that happened, we distanced a lot, and we stopped talking for years. It was almost 5 years of my life that I didn't have one word with my mom, because every time that we tried to have any type of conversation, it was a very exhausting fight, right? Very mentally, exhausting that I just didn't want to talk to her anymore. But life has ways to bring people back into your life, and especially my mom, even though she wasn't supportive at that point, um, I think she was struggling with her religion. She's very Catholic. She still is, but like I said, maybe like 5 years later, she called me crying, and she said to me that she realized that no matter what I do, as far I'm doing something good and being a decent person and having morals and just being me, the person that she raised me. She didn't care who I loved. And I was confused at first because I didn't know where that came from. But she told me that a nun, crazy, right? Crazy. A nun told her that God will never ask her to stop talking to her son. Never. No matter what. The mothers are always mothers. And all those words kind of changed her mind. And we reconnected and became best friends once again. My mom came to my wedding. My mom has been more than supportive of my life and my choices and everything. So when I saw Ubah talking about her mom in that way, I was like, yeah, I agree because I'm happy that at least my mom and I took our time to fix our relationship, and seeing Uba, talking about her mom and how she lost her mom and she doesn't have that person. I think us as viewer who still have our moms alive, we kind of feel that. Even if you are in a good term with them or a bad term or you had an argument, it kind of gets to your head and like make you realize that life is too short to be having issues with people that you love. Not strangers, people that you love and you care about. So I appreciated that. I'm also happy that this cast, even though you can tell the cast was assembled by production, they have connection, but some of these ladies might not have met before. Maybe they knew about the other person, but they are just meeting on the show. And sometimes it's kind of obvious, but at the same time, that's what is making this so enjoyable because it's not just us meeting them for the first time, it's them building a friendship in the process. Like for example, when Sai said that she was gonna have a Brynn's given because Brynn said that she can go to her family, she doesn't have a family, and that she would like to have a Thanksgiving. So Sai made Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving about Brynn. I thought that was absolutely amazing, and the fact that all the ladies came with an open heart and opening about their lives was really really cool. At that table, we found out that Brynn, you know, her mom was the one who was kind of there, and then the dad was like a non-present figure beside just bringing drama to their lives. And then we also know now that her grandma was the one who raised her, but her grandma passed away. So it's a lot, and those are very very sensitive topics. Not that many people are quick to open about their past, especially when it's like fueled with drama to that level, right? Um, we also learn about Uba too on that um, sit down, and we get to also see Jenna Lyons and explaining about her life, and also the fact that you can tell that some of these women came from different backgrounds. You can tell the Sai was saying it like I had a stove. I didn't know what to do when I was a kid, and if it was like broken, we just like tried to like light it on fire or some shit like that. Like she came from poverty. She also shared during this Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner, that the dad used to buy like Christmas trees from the dollar store, and Jenna Lyons and Aaron said like, "Oh, but the dollar store is so awesome," and like I love the dollar store, and Sai said like, "Yeah, I do not." Because I shopped there when I was a kid because I have to survive, right? Well, Jenna Lyons and Aaron, who you can tell come from a more upper class upbringing, I mean, they see the dollar store like a fun trip. Like, oh my gosh, I never been to this place. It's like a magic place. I mean, you can tell the difference between different social status uh, and on the show. Obviously, Sai is not poor. I mean, she has the money now, but for people who come from different backgrounds and from different family dynamics, I think is great to see that. I'm so invested on this show that I hope people are giving it a chance because it has all the ingredients for a great franchise. An ensemble, a cast that has it all: drama, friendship, money, interesting lives, careers. We have Brynn, who's freaking amazing as a Bravo lab housewife or whatever. Um, I also appreciate the fact that not everybody on this show is a typical quote unquote housewife. I mean, Ubah's not married, Brynn is not married, um, Jenna Lyons is not married either. She has a relationship with her partner, and I appreciate that she's trying to keep her life away from the camera, private. I mean, she has all the right to do that. We have Aaron, who is in fact married. We have Jessel, who's married too. Um, so I appreciate what they bring, and I hope um, people realize that these girls have a bright future in the Bravo universe. Bright. I can see this cast go for a long time on Bravo. The ratings live seems to be a little wonky, but I don't think Bravo is even taking those in consideration anymore since most people stream the episodes the next day or 2 days later. Sometimes we get to see those results. I seen them, and I mean, the first episode it has like 1.7 million streaming, not just live views. Um, so the whole viewership in the way the Bravo renew shows is completely different than it used to be before, when ratings were like 100% the decision maker for a show to survive or not. That and now I see why Andy was so involved with the promotion of this show, with like pushing this show. How excited he always sounded when he was talking about it on his radio show or on Watch What Happened Live. Now I understand that because even though I always been happy and excited for the new New York, um, we are on this episode 4. Yes, episode 4, and I'm sold. I was sold since episode 1. From like the first 5 minutes, I was sold. But the more it moves forward, the more episodes we watch, and the more we get to know them in a very more personal way, the more I love this cast. Maybe it's the age range. Maybe it's the fact that like it's more like close to my age range and the issues that I go through myself. Could be, I don't know. So if you're not watching New York, give it a chance. You will not regret it. I want to talk about Crappie Lake real quick. Real quick. Well, before I go into Crappie Lake, actually, let's make a commentary about Watch What Happened Live because it's all about Brynn. My girl Brynn was amazing. Watch What Happened Live. There were like maybe like two or three things that stood up to me. One was when Andy asked her what was her like dating um, age range, and she said from 21 to still breathing. I loved it. I died. I was laughing my ass off. Yeah, it was really fucking hysterical. She's such she's such a star. Also, I love that she was dragging Ramona. They had a little like um game where you have to like guess the age or at least get closer to the age of the Bravo Lab, and she said that Ramona was 83, and everybody's like, what? And then she said like, no, I'm just doing this for my girls. Like, Ramona was nasty to Ubah, was nasty to Sai, and she was making some weird comments online too. Um, so she said that she was defending her girls, and I like that. Once again, they might have issues on the show, but I can tell that they will defend each other if the time comes. It's giving Miami, Miami. This is Miami vibes. This is why people are liking Miami, because even though there's plenty drama between the ladies, they know exactly when to put that aside and be friends and defend each other and protect each other, right? So Brynn went after Ramona, and I was fucking dying. Another funny part was when she was talking about if she liked shaved or bushy, men parts, and she said she's like for the full bush, and then she went to say that she's into Shep from Southern Charm, which, by the way, I mean, I don't see the charm, but I'm like, okay, I can see why some girls like Shep. The one that I do not like at all is Austin. I just think he's just so, I don't know, not attractive, not funny, not interesting. He's only tall. That's all he is. And he's not even cute tall. But Shep, I can see it. But she's Bryn said that she's been DMing with Shep a couple of times, and just by the energy on the tweets, she knows that he has a full bush. Like, what the fuck, man? That was fucking funny. But yeah, I think she did a great job on Watch What Happened Live, and I was very entertained. She was with Marlo. I actually liked their dynamic. Most people, I mean, if you listen to my podcast or you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm not a big fan of Marlo. But when it's time to give some props, I like, okay, I can see Marlo going to like an ultimate girls trip with Brand and some other girls and have a good time. And I can say that too about Marlo. She knows how to partay. Uh, at the last year BravoCon, I went to the Gansenburg Hotel's after party after the Legends Ball, and I love to dance. I'm a dancer. You can find me on the dance floor at any party that I go to. So obviously, I was dancing. I danced with Kenya. I danced with Chanel. I am from Dubai, and with Marlo. And Marlo can freaking dance in high heels and like twirl and do the whole thing. So yeah, I can see Bryn and Marlo having fun because they seem to kind of like have a good energy going on. So yeah, that was fun. And what is also fun is Crappie Lake. If you guys are not watching Crappie Lake, you are missing out because it's one of those very light-hearted nonsense type of show. On last night episode, Sonja and Luann were still casting for the follies that they are doing. They went to check on the pets. You know, they helped building like a pen for uh, for dogs so they can be adopted, and it seems like everything's going great. They are helping the town to be like little things, and now they're also helping to kind of change some rooms in the motel, so kind of they have like suites and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, the fact that I was expecting a different type of show when this was announced and I saw the trailer, I'm very surprised. I thought it was going to be more like Luann and Sonja being like completely like out of place and kind of like talking down to people or like like acting like they didn't know how to do things, like kind of like Paris and Nicole in The Simple Life. But this is like okay, they are trying to blend and be part of Benton, Illinois. They're not trying to feel like, oh my God, I'm so out of place. I don't know what is this. Oh my gosh. No, they are enjoying being there. And like Luann said, like when they went to that pet adoption shop, she said like every dog should be allowed to shed outside. And now because of me and Lou, they can. This is the type of stuff that I love about the Bravo Labs. And some of them, they are funny, they're kind, and they embrace their brands. I mean, Sonia is like to me, she plays the kind of like not I don't want to say dumb blonde, but like the party blonde. The very like the one that makes really inappropriate comments, and you sometimes like scratch your head, but some for some reason you love those comments. Um, Another one is that Lou knows that she has contributed to the music industry for sure. She was saying that, oh my gosh, I'm a songwriter. I have written like 6 songs on my own, and I'm like, yes, Lou, brag about it. Brag about your 6 songs, including uh, Chic La Vie, which by the way I still think is like one of like the most like fun housewife songs. Those like old school songs from the housewife were like really freaking interesting and fun. Chic La Vie, Feeling Giovanni, and Don't Be Tardy for the Party, to me are like iconic. They're so bad as songs, but they're so bad that they're so good. I I was watching Crappie Lake last night, right? And one of the things that I noticed was that Sonia and Lou are working really hard on making every single like topic that they were given and like instruction they needed to finish for Benton, like they taking it seriously. They brought um their their family to bringing helping them to build in that motel and do all the woodwork and changing the bathroom. So I'm once again impressed with the result of this show because I mean it could have easily been like a show making fun of the town, but instead they are making it a a way for these people, Lou and Sonia to uplift the town. Like those when they're like trying to cast people for the following the auditions for it, it's so freaking hysterical. There was a part where Lou was yelling at this girl because she came out a little too early, and she was giving her instruction of like when to do it, and it seemed like the girl was not understanding what Lou was trying to say, or maybe she couldn't hear her, and Sonia said like Luann is the Simon Cowell of Benton, Illinois. Hysterical. Crappie Lake is definitely a must watch show. I hope you're watching it. If you're watching it, let me know your opinion. Please go to my Instagram or my Twitter where you can like, leave any comments. Send me a DM. I will read your comment. You can even leave your comment right here, and I leave the comment and I read the comment while I'm talking on my podcast. If you're interested in joining the lives, you can also go on my YouTube channel when I'm live and we can talk. I'm more than happy to share your opinions and talk on those opinions as well. Um, yeah, and like I always say, if you are enjoying this podcast, please, 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 please rate and subscribe to my podcast. The best way for you guys to show me love is by simply leaving a 5 star if you are enjoying on my podcast, because in this sea of content creators, that's what help us survive. At the same time, if you are into finding more tea or you want to know the latest news in Bravo right in the spot, you can either follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm always tweeting and I'm always posting on Instagram whatever news we have from the Bravo universe. Also, like I mentioned before, I have a members only section on my YouTube channel where you're gonna find exclusive information, exclusive videos. And now that BravoCon is approaching, a lot of my BravoCon content is going to be exclusive for my members only section. Uh, I'm working on bringing more Bravo Labs to the show. I'm working on bringing some surprises, and you don't want to miss it. So that for that reason, make sure that you subscribe and you click on that little uh, notify button on YouTube. Yes, go follow me on YouTube as well. Besties, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have questions or anything, you know where, reach out to me. And please, please, please make sure that you let me know if you're liking this podcast or not. It's very important to me. Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you guys on Friday where we'll be talking all the weekly news and also the recap of Orange County. Have a great night, you guys. I love you all. Take care and make sure that you do what's necessary for you to be happy and take care of your mental health. It's very important. I love you all. Have a great night. Great night, besties. Bye, besties.